Bro, we need to talk about what just happened because this is genuinely one of the most insane things I've ever covered on this channel. Pooh Shiesty, the man who just dropped FDO, hit #1 on the rap charts, came home from federal prison and looked like he was about to take over the entire game, just found out what the rest of his life looks like. And let me tell you something, the reaction, the response coming out of his camp right now, it is not what you think. Meanwhile, Gucci Mane is somewhere out there, quiet, watching all of this unfold, knowing full well that he still owns every single record Pooh Shiesty has ever made. Stay with me because this story gets darker the deeper you go, and by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly how one of the most promising rappers of his generation threw it all away in a single afternoon in Dallas. Alright, so just to make sure everybody is fully caught up, because I know some of you are jumping in fresh. January 10th, 2026, Pooh Shiesty, a man who at this point has an ankle monitor on his leg, is supposed to be at home, is literally on home confinement, organizes a business meeting at a recording studio in Dallas, Texas. He tells Gucci Mane they need to talk about the contract situation. Gucci, being the businessman he is, flies out with his team, walks into the studio expecting a conversation, and instead gets met with an AK-style pistol in his face. Shiesty forces him to sign a contract release at gunpoint. His crew robs everyone else in the room. Rolexes, chains, wedding ring, cash. One of Gucci's people gets choked to near unconsciousness. Big 30 barricades the door so nobody can leave. And then, this is the part that still gets me. They go back to their hotel, some of them hop on a Greyhound bus back to Memphis, and within hours, they are posting the stolen jewelry on Instagram, live, in real time. The Batman GMT on his wrist for the whole world to see, with a Dallas location tag. I genuinely cannot make this up. Fast forward to April 1st, 2026. The FBI has been building this case for 3 months. 3 months of quietly gathering ankle monitor data, cell phone records, license plate readers, rental car documents, surveillance footage, fingerprints off red Solo cups, Greyhound bus manifests, Instagram screenshots, everything. April 1st rolls around and 8 of the 9 defendants get picked up simultaneously across Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. Shiesty's dad gets taken out of the family home in Cordova at 4 in the morning with flashbangs. The DOJ holds a full press conference the next day and announces federal kidnapping charges against all 9. Kidnapping, not robbery, not assault, federal kidnapping, which in the United States carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. And what makes this so much worse is that Shiesty was not just on home confinement at the time of the robbery, he was serving the tail end of a 5-year federal sentence for a gun conspiracy conviction out of Florida. The terms of his home detention were simple: do not commit another federal crime, do not possess a firearm. He did both on the same afternoon, with an ankle monitor recording his every move.
How you get out for robbery and then you rob a dude while you in the halfway house? Nobody ever thought you was lying in your raps. We could look at your record and see, oh yeah, he be robbing niggas. But instead, you was like, nah, fuck all that. I'm gonna do it again. What? That is percenters. That is crash out of the year material, because supposedly how this went down is Gucci Mane pull up to the studio, he moving, grooving, vibing, sliding, think he about to lay down some tracks. He walk in, boom, 2 AK-47s, Big 30, Pooh Shiesty. Marvin Air, you guys did death, nigga. Red Bull, nowhere in sight. I need out my contract. Not why strictly for vibes. Fuck all that. Sign this piece of paper. And immediately, it's just like, that was the best plot that y'all could come up with. Like, there's cameras, there's people around. You didn't think nobody was gonna say anything? You're gonna go right back to prison. It's like, I can already see first day out video footage. Like, oh, so you said you can't outsnake a snake. And you said you extra aggressive right around the way where they slide Martin Luther King. To give you a lawyer an impossible task. I gotta be like, I mean, Jesus Christ, like, you could have somebody else do it? But you had to go do that yourself.
Now, here is where it gets into what is actually unfolding right now in terms of the reaction from Shiesty's side. And look, I want to be careful here because legal proceedings are still moving fast, but what we are seeing come out of his camp is a combination of silence and deflection that tells you everything. There has been no official statement from his legal team that amounts to anything substantial, no denial of the core facts, no pressing narrative about innocence. Because here's the thing, The evidence is so overwhelming that there is almost nothing to say. The ankle monitor placed him at the studio. His face is on the studio surveillance footage. His fingerprints are at the scene. His dad rented the car. His dad printed the contract at a Staples on the way there in that same rental. Multiple co-defendants posted the stolen goods the same night. What exactly is his lawyer going to stand up and argue? That he was somewhere else? The government has his GPS coordinates from his own ankle bracelet. So what you are getting from his camp right now is quiet, loud quiet. The kind of quiet that tells you everybody involved knows exactly how bad this looks. And now, let us talk about Gucci Mane, because this is the part of the story that I think people are sleeping on. People keep asking, is Gucci a snitch? Did Gucci tell? And I want to put this to rest right now. Gucci Mane did not need to tell anyone anything. One of his security detail was an off-duty law enforcement officer who was present during the robbery. You pulled an AK on a cop, essentially. Beyond that, the studio had cameras. The ankle monitor had GPS. The rental was in Shiesty's dad's name. The fingerprints were on the cups. Gucci showing up to testify at this point would almost be a formality. The feds have everything they need without him saying a single word. But here's the deeper layer that makes this genuinely fascinating. In 2024, Gucci released every artist from 1017 except two, Fujiano and Pooh Shiesty. He held on to Shiesty specifically, would not let him go. And that decision, that refusal to release him, is what set the entire chain of events in motion. Shiesty comes home from prison. Yo Gotti has $50 million waiting for him, and Gucci is standing in the door saying no. So Shiesty, instead of getting lawyers involved, instead of going through the proper channels, instead of literally anything else a rational human being would do, pulls up to a studio in Dallas with 8 people from Memphis and a Draco. And now Gucci Mane, who still legally owns every record Pooh Shiesty has ever made, sits back and waits. He is not going anywhere. Shiesty is not releasing any music. The contract Shiesty forced Gucci to sign at gunpoint is not worth the Staples paper it was printed on. A judge would throw that out in about 4 seconds. Gucci owns him, still, completely. Let us get into what Shiesty is actually facing in terms of real numbers, because I think people throw around the phrase life in prison without really sitting with what that means for a 20-something-year-old rapper who just had a #1 song. Federal kidnapping carries life. The firearm charge, using an AK-style pistol during a federal crime, that is a mandatory minimum on top of whatever the base sentence is. He is also violating his existing home confinement terms, which means whatever was left of his original sentence gets stacked on top of everything new. His dad is looking at serious time for conspiracy to commit federal kidnapping. Big 30, who I have to say is genuinely heartbreaking to see caught up in this because his catalog has been on another level, is facing the same charges. And the prosecutors in the Northern District of Texas are not the type to negotiate down on something this high profile. This was a coordinated, premeditated, armed federal kidnapping of a multi-millionaire recording artist, with a paper trail stretching from Memphis to a Dallas Staples to an Instagram flex reel. These prosecutors are going to want to make an example, and Pooh Shiesty, walking in with a prior federal conviction already on his record, is going to be the one they make it out of. And that is what kills me about all of this. It genuinely does, because FDO was hard. That song was real. The moment felt real. Shiesty comes home, drops a record that goes straight to #1, and for a minute, it actually felt like this was the guy who was going to carry the whole lane that Lil Durk left behind when he crashed out. There was momentum there. There was genuine commercial heat, and he walked into a recording studio in Dallas and threw every single bit of it into a bin. The contract he bled for is worthless. The money he could have made with Gotti is gone. His dad is in custody, and Gucci Mane, the man he tried to rob his way free from, still owns his entire catalog and will continue collecting every royalty from every stream of every song Pooh Shiesty has ever made, while Shiesty sits in a federal facility working out what the rest of his 20s and 30s look like. If you want to stay up to date on how this case develops as the sentencing progresses, make sure you are subscribed, because this story is nowhere near finished. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I will see you in the next one.